One of the things I've been aware of throughout my career as a teacher and also working in the church is that a lot of people think they have an idea of what's in the Bible, but actually that has been filtered and squashed down through maybe generations of miscellaneous ideas that have come down to them that Jesus was just a good teacher or whatever it may be. Students get stuck because they are fitting what little they know into a normal Western worldview, which is often dualistic, thinking of a God who's miles away up in the sky, and maybe he sent his son, and maybe we go there to live with him one day, and so on. And to all that, I just want to say, no, stop. Actually read the New Testament within its own world, and then you'll see that your worldview itself, which is the thing that's tripping you up, is the thing that's got to be challenged now. What we're trying to say, among many other things in this book and this course, is that the resurrection of Jesus began the new creation which God had long planned. The evil in the world was in principle defeated on Good Friday, enabling new creation to be launched with Easter. And then the summons of reading the New Testament is to take part in, to share in that new world, and to become part of it for oneself. My hope is that when people really get to grips with the material that we've got here, all sorts of new insights will come to them.
We've been running the textbook that I know I've desired to use, one that covers all the meaty topics of background, that studiously engages in the contents as well, but also looks at those questions of so what? What does this mean for us today? And I think when you've got a good resource like that students are getting to, it means you're then somewhat freer in class. The students have already read some of that background stuff, the critical issues on authorship and provenance, so you're freer to cover in class the things that you're more interested in as an instructor. You can talk about themes or theology or offer your own narration of the text. So this is a resource that I think will be very satisfactory for professors in their own pedagogy, and it'll be very satisfying for students.
I've been teaching in universities and colleges on and off for nearly half a century, and I've seen again and again students who may start off as very interested and then quickly get bored, or start off as bored and need to be made to be interested from the beginning. And likewise, students who think they know it all in advance and are very wary of any fresh ideas that this strange instructor may be giving. And so I know perfectly well what it's like to be faced with a classroom in which you have quite a mixed bag of students. And my hope is that this resource, both the book and the course, will provide the instructors with perspectives, different angles of vision on things that they may themselves have been used to teaching one particular way. It may just give them good ideas for a way into this lecture or to this section of the course. And particularly with all the visuals we've got, with all the extra bits and pieces, with timelines and maps and charts and diagrams and so on, it seems to me this is an ideal thing. To be honest, I wish something like this had been available when I was a teenager, when I was in my early 20s, because again and again you look at a picture and it's worth 1,000 words. You look at a map and it's much easier to see what's going on than somebody describing a travelogue in prose, and so on and so on. So this is an extraordinary multifaceted resource designed, I hope, to make the instructor get a bit of a spring in her or his step as they go back to class one more time and say, now guys, look at this. This is actually going to change the way we read this text.
There's a number of things that we do in this book. Most sections, particularly that discusses, each singular book, we kind of open up with a general description of why you should be interested in this book, giving a basic summary of its contents, announcing its major themes. Then we explain all the critical issues connected to the book, those things about authorship and date, that kind of a thing. We provide a mini commentary on the book as well, and then we provide at the end some suggestions for reflection or why this book can really impact churches and Christians today. And along the way, we do a few other things as well. We add a lot of background information. We also talk a little bit about the history of interpretation. And we kind of have a dialogue going on, a fictitious dialogue, a series of emails, exchanges between a professor and a student about some of the things the student is wrestling with. And they're typical student questions, and hopefully with pretty good answers. So this book, I think, will have a different feel, a different texture, a different vibe than most New Testament introductions doing the rounds.
This book and this course are designed to open people's eyes to the bigger picture of what the New Testament really was in its original context, how it works, why it came to be like that, what the original authors were trying to say. And I've found again and again that people then make the connections, both the connections between different parts of early Christianity and the connections between early Christianity and who we are and what we're supposed to be doing today. I would encourage instructors to get hold of an examination copy of this book as soon as possible, because I think you'll want then to recommend it to your students. You'll want to use it as the basis for your teaching.